Sonic the Hedgehog is directed by Jeff Fowler and is the latest video game adaptation based on the Sega video game franchise of the same name. And this has been awaited for some time by a lot of Sonic fans in particular. This film was originally supposed to release in November 2019, but thanks to the very creepy CGI that was originally supposed to be there, a lot of people complained, and the CGI animators, they said, alright, you know what? Let's go back to the drawing board and let's make him look more accurate. And right out the gate, I gotta give props to Paramount for that, because that's already a mark of a good decision being made by a studio. Like, how many studios can you think of which actually would do something like that? That's pretty great. I do have to commend them. Nonetheless, this film is about Sonic, who has escaped his homeworld due to reasons I cannot go into because spoilers, and he's now living on Earth, and he's pretty lonely. However, one day while he's up to his antics, something goes horribly wrong, and the government and a lot of people get wind of him, and so he's basically on the run. And he asks for the help of a cop played by James Marsden of the small town, and they're both trying to get away from Dr. Robotnik played by Jim Carrey. Like I said, the CGI work they've done now for Sonic is pretty great. He looks great. He looks very accurate to the games, and I think Ben Schwartz did a great job voicing him. He's a very charismatic version of Sonic, which is to be expected, and they really did nail some of the mannerisms and expressions and comedic timing of this character. Because he's fast, there's a lot of fast humor, as you'd probably expect, which has its ups and downs. We'll get more into that later but I think they did a very good job of at least bringing this character to life. Some of my favorite moments in the film are when he is actually alone. My favorite scene in the movie, for instance, is within the first 10-15 minutes where he is playing baseball by himself on a pitch. The scene's in the trailers. Whenever a scene like that is in the trailers, I tend to not think of it as a spoiler because it was there. You could see it. It was part of the marketing. And so I feel more comfortable talking about it. But they did a really good job with him. But by far, Jim Carrey pretty much pulls the rug out from underneath everyone's feet in this movie because he is wonderful. He is having a ball with this role, and it's been a while since I've seen Jim Carrey like this, or anyone has for that matter. So just seeing him be this high, energetic, over the top, crazy in a role is pretty great. It takes you back to a time in your childhood where you were probably watching a lot of Jim Carrey movies. I sure as hell did. I mean, I grew up on so much of Jim Carrey's work, and seeing that side of him tapped into again in this movie, it was pretty great, and he did have some really nice moments of comedy to offer because of it. The film has also got some entertaining scenes to offer. There's a few neat little visual callbacks. There's some nice pop culture stuff. There's a couple of actually genuinely very funny scenes as well. And not for nothing, but it's not too badly shot either. The cinematography is kind of nice. There's a scene with the just a blue light, which is used in this scene of dark, which is actually kind of nice. It's a minor little detail though. But the film has some other issues. I do, however, think it's overall it was slightly mixed bag. My biggest issue with this film is honestly its script. It's pretty by the numbers, and it doesn't really have much surprise in it. There's some nice Easter eggs to offer throughout the film, of course. I mean, if you're a big Sonic fan, there's one in particular that's going to blow your mind, which will be great. But apparently, if you've been on some social media websites recently, they ruined it. Which, by the way, please don't go on social media because I guess they're ruining things. But there are some nice moments like that. However, I'm looking at it from a film point of view, and that is, there's things I didn't really like about the way they were handling the story. It just wasn't. There was nothing to latch onto as much as or emotionally sometimes connect to. Sonic I did care about a little bit, but after a while, once we were past that point, and when he's finally with this cop who has a storyline I really didn't care about. In fact, that's easily the weakest part of the movie. Most of the human stuff, except for Robotnik, I did not care much about James Marsden's storyline, the other thing he's got going on. I really didn't, and the rest really didn't matter because of it. But this was easily a drag on the movie whenever we did have to go into those scenes. It kind of felt like when you were in the human scenes for Transformers movies, it was like, come on, let's get to the robot stuff. Like, that's the stuff I'm really here for. That doesn't mean it makes the movie bad in any way. It absolutely doesn't. But it's definitely the weaker part of the film. The film also has a few action sequences which are fun visually, but I have a hard time loving them because it is kind of ripping off X-Men Days of Future Past, and that was disappointing. So, I mean, can I look past that? I mean, kind of, but not really. I mean, are they fun sequences? Sure, but if you've seen Days of Future Past and you saw the Quicksilver scene, there's a scene like that in this movie, and you can't not get distracted by it. I'm sorry. Of course, that might just be me. I'm a fan of Sonic. I am. I love the games. I really like this character. I played games of Sonic since I was, in the second grade or something. In fact, the first time I ever got introduced to Sonic was by a McDonald's Happy Meal because they had these little games that they gave as part of the Happy Meal. Remember when Happy Meals were fucking awesome? Anyway, so they had this game version of Sonic, and I started playing that, and I was like, I like this. I like this a lot. And I've played Sonic quite a few times since. I mean, many times. I really like the character a lot. I like the world around him, and I like the characters it inhabits. But I wanted more of that. Honestly, I wanted to have more of that stuff. Not so much the human stuff. I was like, get over this. So yeah, the storytelling, not the best. The script, not exactly the best. There's a few derivative action sequences which I found to be very distracting. And not all the humor works. It's definitely there's some patches of very dry humor in this movie. But aside from that, I would say Sonic, if you're a fan of Sonic, you're probably gonna like this movie a lot. If you're a kid, you're gonna love this movie. Like, kids are gonna enjoy the hell out of this movie. I thought it was okay. It was nowhere near the disaster I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be horrible. It's not. That counts for a lot of things, though. I'm gonna give Sonic the Hedgehog a 6.5 out of 10. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Look forward to more reviews very soon. As always, if you like this, please do subscribe. I'll see you guys at the movies.